Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel, we cut through the hype and the noise, and we give you the non-biased information you need to make informed decisions. And guys, I thought I couldn't be more bullish about Hedera and HBAR, but I just watched a podcast from Walker and Williams, which I'll leave a link down below, and he interviewed the largest asset manager in the UK. And the guy runs ABRDN, which is a governing, he sits on the governing board of Hedera. And guys, he opened my eyes even wider about why I need to stack more HBAR. And he gave a real insight not only to what's going on in Hedera, but he touched base on a little bit about how the banks and the asset managers think about the future of payments and like Web3 and things of that nature. So guys, I'm going to just give you about 10 bullet points, and I'm telling you, if you don't own HBAR right now, the odds are you'll probably want to start stacking. Now, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, but if you're like me, I compare everything to HBAR, and I normally stack more HBAR. All right, guys, hit that like button. Let's get into it. I'm always telling people I'm non-biased, right? As much as I like HBAR, if some really bad news came out or if something changed, I'll sell that bag, swap that bag, and jump into something else that has a better risk reward tomorrow. And I try to listen to people that are smarter than me and that are non-biased. If I can't get my information straight from the source, I want to get it to someone that's not trying to pump a channel or lie to me, or quite frankly, just doesn't have the intellect that I need. I want them to be smarter than me, have more knowledge, or at least been around longer. Maybe they're a developer or an asset manager. So guys, I'm going to tell you what he was talking about, and think about it. He's on the governing board, but outside of running the node, and sometimes they get paid in HBAR, he's not an investor directly in HBAR. He's not here to lie to you or pump Hedera and HBAR. He's just telling you the truth of why they are building on the Hedera ecosystem. And guys, I'm telling you, this was one of the best podcasts I've ever seen. You need to watch it. Now, let's get into it. So obviously we're talking about HBAR, and guys, I think it's the best risk reward out there. Like I said, I compare everything to it. But here's what he said. The first thing he said when he talked about risk, and people don't like to hear this, but again, guys, you need to hear it. He said that he sees an unbelievable upside in crypto and blockchain and Web3, where it's going. But now, he's an asset manager, right? He said when you really look at these projects, no matter how cheap they are, he said it makes Tesla look like it's really, really cheap. So think about how high Tesla has ran, and he's talking about the average project in crypto. The valuation is off the chart. The world has never seen anything like it. But he was saying that doesn't mean that, it can't get higher and higher, because that's just if you compare it to, say, a stock. And he said it's so early. So that's good and bad news, but it gives you perspective. Now, he also said that he believes Hedera will be a top 5 project in the next 5 years. I 100% agree. Now, he also talked about how involved the governing council is. That kind of blew me away. And he talked about how they were voting on some things. It took them like 3 months, and they met like 9 times. I didn't think that would be something that they would be putting that kind of time in. But he said that the governing board and the council members are very involved. And he said he thought that you're going to be surprised of all the amazing projects that are going to be announced throughout the years from the governing body. Guys, can't be more bullish. Now, he mentioned this. Now, hear me out, guys, because this is really important. I own all the banking tokens, and every day I do research that people tell you crazy things. Like they tell you, there's going to be a banking reset, and, basically all the crypto projects like XRP and XLM and all those projects that are in banking or payments are going to change the world and take over banking. Well, guys, I got news for you. I've been saying for a while that's not going to happen. They'll get their share in the interoperability. But what he said about the banks just reiterates what I already feel that I know, because if you do the amount of research that's non-biased as I do, you can see and hear what the legacy banks and all the big boys on Wall Street and the governments want. And they do not want to be sending money over public rails. There's too much risk. So he basically said there's not going to be a token needed for the banks, that they're going to use ledgers. I've been saying that as well. Now, he also said they don't want to run on public blockchains, that they will build their own. Then he mentioned that as an asset manager and definitely a bank, they don't feel comfortable holding a token to do payments, which I already knew that. That's why Ripple, for instance, created ODL. Now, I'm not going to harp on that, but ODL uses Ripple's supply, so it's not bullish for retail XRP. But the point he was saying is that, the banks or the asset managers don't want to own tokens at this time. He said in the future, but not the near future, yes, they probably will. And that's what your custodial corporations are that are popping up around the world. Once you get regulation and everything else, then your asset managers and your banks might start investing in some tokens. But either way, they don't want to hold a token to make payments. And if you think about it, guys, why would you hold a token and invest in a volatile asset when it can go up and down? So yes, it saved you millions of dollars, but you ended up losing money. So I thought that was important. He also said, which is being built on Hedera, each one of these projects in a big way, but he said he thought the future that's going to really be game changers is medical, like owning your own information and providing access to ship your information from doctors or wherever it needs, but it's going to be in your control, and that is going to be massive. If you think about it, everyone on the planet, guys, has a file with their doctor records and their health information, and that's going to go on the blockchain. He talked about a digital ID. That is going to be a big topic to come, and that every board member is trying to give any input on digital identity to help build out the future. He said that's probably the number one thing that every governing council board has an interest in. It's digital identity. And note to self, I will be tracking down those tokens and staying on top of that. Now, he also talked about tokenization of assets. Guys, I've made a number of videos talking about tokenization of assets. And again, not to harp on that, the tokens are not going to be used for payment rails, like let's just say XRP. They're going to get their share and they'll have their own entity. But guys, I know this to be true. What the future is going to look like is smart contracts, NFTs, and ledgers. You're not going to need a token to process money. All money and all payments and everything in the future will be turned into a smart contract, and then it will just be settled on the ledger. That's what all the legacy banks, SWIFT, and everyone is working on. And he talked about that as well. And the cool thing about Hedera is they are involved with a mechanism that verifies each trade, which is what they're working on with drops and I believe FIS Global. So even though the token might not be used on the rails to transfer the money, the Hedera token could be used as a timestamp and to verify each transaction. It's a huge use case for Hedera when the tokenized assets come around. And then, well, I wrote it down twice. Again, he said healthcare. So anyway, guys, I thought this was a wealth of information. He's non-biased. He doesn't care if you buy Hedera or not. But guys, that's coming straight from the source. I truly believe that the two powerhouse layer one are Ethereum and Hedera. And I'm going to make a video about that. And I'm not, like I said, I'm non-biased, guys. Why do I say that? Well, Ethereum has the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. That's Wall Street players like Google, Microsoft, IBM, and Goldman Sachs. All those power players around the world are pushing Ethereum. That's why the ecosystem is so powerful. Well, look at Hedera. It's the second best one when it comes to the big boys having an affiliation with any layer one. You got Ethereum, and then you got the Hedera Governing Council, which is some of the most powerful corporations. Some of the same corporations that are involved with the Ethereum Alliance are on the board of Hedera. And those projects are on the down low. They're not running around advertising that they have 100 developers building out some type of blockchain project, because guys, they're in a very competitive environment. But whether it's people like him that was in that podcast or the developers I listen to every week, they're constantly talking about how many projects are being built by the major corporations. And I truly believe, guys, we are going to be shocked what keeps coming out in the next bull run and the next couple of years. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think about Hedera. I'm not shilling, guys. I'm non-biased, but I'm telling you, if you compare any project that you think is a better project to stack, compare it to HBAR, and the odds are you'll stack HBAR like me. And if I find another one, I'll make a video on that, and we will be using that as the one to compare it with. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Hit that like button. Share with like-minded people. But either way, guys, come back and be part of this community. And remember, none of this is financial advice, but the more homework you do, I think the more you'll agree with what I think about Hedera and HBAR. Take care, guys.